Well, I know honor was set, but can we stand and give honor to none other than our chief apostle, our Wayne Roach III. Bless you, apostle. And of course to our Lady Mika, Pastor Walker, my lovely husband in the back, our Pastor Felder, our youth pastor Ryan, and to you, you're somebody too. Amen. So we know our scripture of the day is Galatians 6:9. Be not weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. So if I were to give you a topic today, my topic would be, I may be cracked, but I'm not broken. And my subtopic today is, he's still a promise keeper. For my quote I have, life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. And that is by Confucius. I think he was an earlier scientist. So I have three questions for you today, not 3 points, but 3 questions to make you think and to really ask yourself these questions. My first question for today is, what are you speaking? Oftentimes we go through things in life and we don't realize, and the word says it itself, that life and death lie in the power of our tongue. So oftentimes we don't realize it, but we speak ourselves into the trouble that we go through throughout the week and the things that we may go through in life. We're not feeding ourselves what's needed for us to continue on. Instead, we're gossiping. We're watching TV, certain things that we know we're not supposed to be watching, even on the Sabbath for us Sabbath keepers. We're listening to the wrong things, listening to the wrong conversations. We're around the wrong people who are saying the wrong things, and all that is being imparted into our spirit. And because it's being imparted into our spirit, that's what we live throughout the week. That's what we go through throughout the week. So instead of feeding ourselves, our spirit, nutrients like the word and giving ourselves scriptures to get through the week, we're feeding ourselves garbage because of the actions that of our natural habits, instead of feeding ourselves strength such as snacking on the word daily. You hear our leaders say it often, to snack on the word, to read your word throughout the week. And it's not just reading your word, but it's also praying and communing with God and having conversations with God. We forget throughout the week, we come to church and we're good on the Sabbath. We hide it very well on the Sabbath, and I'm one of those who was hiding it well on the Sabbath. I would come to church, I would dance, I would speak in a good tongue because I can roll them, thank the Lord. We would, lay on the altar. If we were asked to MC, we would put up a front to MC. But instead of being real and instead of being realistic and saying, God, I'm going through, God, I really need you, we get stuck and we get complacent. And we decide to go through and listen to these things that we're not supposed to be listening to. We watch these things that we're not supposed to be watching instead of building our relationship with God. And it took for me to get in a dark place, in a real dark place, where I thought I was going to lose my mind, where I thought there was no hope, where I thought there was no light at the end of the tunnel, for me to be like, God, I really need you. God, I really need you to step in. God, I'm going through this, but where are you? We go through things in life and we forget God in the equation when he's the center of it all. So, we have the power to speak in all these tongues on Sabbath. We have the power to pray on Sabbath. We have the power to put on the front on Sabbath. But when we're going through hell throughout the week, we don't have no power. We don't have no victory. We don't have no word in our heart and no word in our voice and no strength behind speaking and believing whatever it is that you speak. Instead of speaking life, we're speaking death. We're not speaking joy, we're not speaking hope, we're not speaking prosperity, we're not speaking patience, we're not speaking peace, we're not speaking love, but instead we're speaking hatred, instead we're speaking malice, instead we're speaking bitterness, instead we're planting these seeds not just in ourselves, but it affects the people around us, the souls that we're supposed to be ministering to. You know, how are we going to be able to go to these souls and be like, you know, the word says to not be weary and well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not, and you're not even feeding yourself throughout the week. How are we going to be able to reach the people on the campus and the people on the streets out here? Because, you know, Pastor David said it best last weekend, we right in the heart of town. Right in the heart of town, where drugs is going on, where prostitutes are, where kids are skipping school. We're on campus, where kids are going through, where they don't have enough money to where they can make sure they get fed throughout the week. You know, us college kids and us kids on campus, we struggle. And a lot of people don't know that we struggle because we hide it. So what are you going to do to those kids who are struggling and who are hiding their struggle with a smile on their face and with a hello, how you doing, and with a nice attitude? What are we going to do? So my next question that I have for you is, what is your response? When we go through things in life, you can either do one or two things. You can sink or you can stay afloat. We sink by following into depression, oppression, malice, hatred, bitterness, unforgiveness, all those other fruits that we don't talk about, that we pick up from going through life. We sink by blaming God and saying, God, oh, it's your fault. Oh, where were you at when I needed you? We sink and by staying stuck in our moment. Lady Nika says it best, have your moment, but don't stay there. We stay stuck in our moment because we get complacent and feeling depressed. We become comfortable with feeling oppressed. We become comfortable with feeling angry or, you know, upset, or just being in hatred or in bitterness. We become complacent in those feelings and in sinking because that's a comfort zone for most of us. When we go through, instead of feeding ourselves word and instead of praying like we should, we sink. We go to our smoking habits. We go to our drinking habits. We go to our cussing habits. We go to, oh, I want to go out with my friends. No, when you go out with your girls, y'all going to go have drinks, and y'all going to go have a good time, and you're not thinking about the Lord. And I'm saying all this because I've done this. Not because I haven't done this or I haven't gone through, but because I have. And because it took for me, like I said, to get into a dark place in my flesh, and not in God, for me to say, hey, God, I really need you. God, I can't go back down this road because this road led me astray the first time. What is your response? Stay afloat and go back to when you first met the Lord and gave him your all. You know, are we quoting scriptures like, I will bless the Lord at all times and his praises shall continually be in my mouth? Are we saying scriptures like, the joy of the Lord is my strength? You know, we forget about these scriptures that have these things where it gives us strength. You know, we always so quick to go to cliches and not actual word. Read the word for yourself. Read it for yourself, because you'll find strength in the word. Because the word is your strength. When you feeling low, when you feeling like you want to give up, when you feeling like you can't make it no more, you want to throw in the towel, you want to turn your back against the wall, you want to be done with church, and you want to be done with God, because we've all said that before. And I'd be a lie if I stood up here and said that I haven't even said it myself before. And I said it recently, that I wanted to be done, that I wanted to give up, that I didn't want to continue on. Because I question God. And we all get in our moments, you know, they say, oh, you're not supposed to question God. But if we're being realistic and we're being real, we're flesh first. So we're going to think flesh first. We're not always going to think spirit first. We react off of our flesh. So when you're going through, you're not going to say automatically, oh God, I need you. Oh God, you are my strength to get me through this. You're going to say, you might cuss. for those of you guys who still need to work on that, pull this up. You might just want to give away, you might just want to walk away, but instead, take a moment to breathe. Instead, take a moment to pause. Because in that breath and in that pause, you're giving yourself time to think. You're giving yourself time to calm yourself, calm your anger, calm your upsetness, calm your first reaction. Because if anybody knows me, I'm reaction first. I'm quick to react. Hold me up. There's some things that are still on the altar. But what are you speaking? What is your response? And then my third point is, and my third question is, what are your prayers? Are we praying like we should? What are we asking for? Oftentimes, we go into prayer and you'll hear people say, Lord, give me the fruit of the Spirit. I want long suffering. I want patience. I want peace. Do you not know what it's like to go through long suffering? Do you hear that first word, long? And God works in His own time and His own season. So you never know, that season can be about like 4 or 5 seasons of long suffering. But you asked for it. You said in your prayer, I want long suffering. Give me the fruits of the Spirit. Give me joy. Give me peace. You have to go through something to get that joy, to get that peace, to obtain that long suffering. What are we asking for in our prayers? Go back to when you first met God and when He first became your first love. Sometimes it's okay to go back. We hear often, oh, don't go back. No more looking back. Sometimes you have to look back to see just how far you've come so you can continue moving forward. Because sometimes we just need a wake-up call. We need a reality check. We need a reminder. And in our reminders, we may have to look back. We may have to take a moment just to pause, look over your shoulder, recollect, rethink, so that way you can reevaluate yourself and reset yourself so that way you can move forward. Sometimes, So, if I were to give you something to do for this week, to leave you with, so you can ponder and, make it through the next week, look before you faint. Oftentimes we walk with our head down, naturally and spiritually. Or we walk with our mind on other things instead of paying attention to what's ahead of us. And that's where we faint. That's where we slip up. That's where we fall. And if you don't look or you're not paying attention, you'll faint unconsciously. You'll faint not knowing that you even fainted. Because sometimes we fall and we don't even realize it. And if you don't mind me asking before I close, Pastor Gordon, can you pause?